Hi everyone, in this video we will discuss all the solutions of the questions of practical book from chapter 3.1 and 3.2. So all these questions are related to working with functions chapter. Now carefully go through the sample code and verify various parts of the functions. There is a function def sub 1 with parameters a and b, and it is printing b comma minus comma a is equal to b minus a. So here you can see the name of the function is sub 1. The arguments are a and b. There are two arguments. The number of statements of function body is 1. There is one statement. There's a print statement. And does it return any value? No, it doesn't return any value because there is no return statement. And what the function is doing? The function is accepting two values a and b, and it is doing the subtraction, that is subtracting a from b, and it's printing the value as b minus a is equal to whatever is the value b minus a, that is printing. Now the next code is like this: def cube 2 within parenthesis x. Then there is something x into x into x, and there is one closed parenthesis. Then return x into x into x minus x. So here the function name is cube 2. Arguments taken is there is only one argument, that is x, and the number of statements of function body is you can say there is only one statement, return statement, because the second line, that is x into x into x with a closed parenthesis, that is basically some invalid or incomplete statement. We can't consider that one, so there is only one statement within the function body. Then does it return any value? Yes, it is returning value because it is having a return statement. And what it is doing, it is basically calculating x to the power 3 and subtracting x from it. So it is giving the value as x cube minus x. Now the next function is cube 1, def cube 1 with one argument x, and it is returning x cube. So you can see the function name is cube1, the argument name is x, the number of statements the function body is 1. There is only one statement, return statement. And does it return any value? Yes, it returns value. And what it is doing, it is calculating x to the power 3 and returns the value. Now the next function is greeting with no parameter, and it is printing one message, welcome to Python. So you can see the name of the function is greeting. The argument names are, there are no arguments, and number of statements the function, there is only one statement, the print statement. And does it return any value? No, there is no return value because no return statement is there in this function. Then what it is doing, it is just printing the message. Now pick up the function call statements for the function definitions given in question number 1. So you can say the function call statement for sub 1 can be the options k and h, sub 1 of 5 comma 3 and sub 1 of x comma y, because these two function calls are having two parameters, because in our function sub 1 there are exactly two arguments. So while calling the function also you have to pass the parameters, corresponding parameters. So you can see these are the two possible function call statements for the first function sub 1, and the next function is cube1, and the answer can be, this one is the option I, that is cube1 of x. Cube1 function is accepting one parameter, so this one is having one argument x, so we can say that this can be the function call for this particular function cube1. Then function call statement for cube2 can be option L, cube2 with a argument num, because cube2 function takes one parameter, and there is only one cube2 function having one parameter num, so that can be the possible function call statement. Then the function call statement for greeting function is option G, greeting with no value in the parenthesis, because our actual greeting function is not having any parameters. So this can be the function call statement for the function greeting. In question number 1, sub 1 and q are doing almost similar thing, these two functions. Then what is the difference between these two functions? You can see sub1 function takes two arguments a and b, but cube2 function takes only one argument, that is x. Similarly, sub1 function finds the difference between the two values taken as argument, but cube2 function finds the difference between the cube of the number which is taken as the argument and the number itself. So even though these two are doing the same, finding the difference, but the first one is taking the difference of the two values which are taken in argument. The second one is taking only one number as argument, and it is finding the difference between the cube of that number and that particular number. Then sub1 is a void function as it does not return any value. There is no return statement in sub1 function, but it is just printing the difference, whereas cube2 function is a non-void function which is having a return statement and it is returning a value. So these are the differences between these two functions. Now we'll move on to the next chapter, chapter 3.2, and we'll discuss all the questions of chapter 3.2. The first question goes like this: identify the mentioned part from the code below. So you can see the code is here. There's a function defined last digit cube, which is taking one parameter called n, and it is finding d is equal to n percent 10 and c is equal to d to the power 3 and return c. A number is one variable which is storing a number which is entered by the user, and cube is another variable which is storing the value which is returned by the function last digit cube. That means last digit cube function is called over here with number as its argument, and the result is stored in a variable called cube, and it is just printing that value. So it is basically finding the cube of the last digit of the number. So for we have to just identify some certain things from this code. So for that purpose, I have just given some name, the line numbers I have named like this. First line is fn.1. Why? Because that is the part of the function definition. So the functions I have named like fn.1, fn2, fn3, fn4. And the main parts are main1, main2, and main3. So there are total 7 lines of codes in this program. Now here you can see what is the function header. The function header is def last digit cube with n as its parameter. So this is the first line of a function definition, is called the function header. Now it is asking what's the number and name of the arguments. How many arguments are there? There is only one argument, and the name of the argument is, you can see, that is number. Number is passed when you are calling the function, so that is the name of the argument. Now the number of statements in the function body. So there are three statements in the function body. You can see the lines are fn2, fn3, and fn4. These three lines are the three statements which are present in the function body. And the number of statements the main program. There are three statements the main program. You can see main.1, main.2, and main.3. These are the three lines which are representing the three statements in the main part of the program. Now the function call statement. Function call statement is in a main.to line, which is cube is equal to last digit cube with a number as its parameter. You can see. So this line is the function call statement. Now the parameter name here is n. Parameter is the name of the variable which is passed while defining the function. So here you have passed n as its parameter. So the parameter name is n. Argument's name is number. What is an argument? Basically the value which is passed when a function is called. That is called argument. So that value which is passed while calling the function, that is number. So number is the argument. Now the flow of execution of this program is like this. Always remember, a program gets executed from the top line or from the first line. So here the first line is fn.1, and then the control will go to the main part. Why? Because it will skip the function body. The first line found that this is just a function definition, so the rest of the parts of the function will be skipped and it will directly go to the main part of the function. So it will go to main.1, then it will go to main.2, and in that line the function is actually called. So when a function will be called, then the control will go to the function definition part and it will execute all the lines of the function one by one. So after main2, the control will go to function.fn.1 line, fn.1, then fn.2, then fn.3, and fn.4. These four lines will get executed and it will come back to this main.2 line where the function was called. Why? Because the value which is returned by this function will be stored in a variable called cube, which is present in main.2 line. Then after that it will execute the last line, that is main.3. So this is how the flow of execution will take place. Now consider the following function definitions and write the appropriate function call statements for these. You can see the first function definition is sum of three multiples of 1, which is taking n as its parameter. Now s is equal to n into 1 plus n into 2 plus n into 3 and return s. So we can call the function like this: sum is equal to sum of three multiples 1. Within that we have passed one parameter, one argument called 7. So here you can see this function is returning one value. So the returned value should be stored in some particular variable. So we cannot just call the function like this, because if the function will be called, then it will return the value and the value has to be stored in a variable. So we have assigned the function call to a variable called sum. Sum is equal to sum of three multiples 1, and within that we have passed one argument called 7. We can pass any other number as argument. Now next function is def sum of three multiples 2n. It's doing the same thing, but instead of returning the value, it is just print s. So while calling the function, we don't need to assign this function call to any other variable, because there is a print statement over there in this function, and that too this function is not returning any value, so it doesn't need to be stored in any other variable. So you can just call the function as it is, sum of three multiples 2. Within that you can take any value as argument. I have taken 7. You can take any other number. So this function will do the particular calculation and it will print the value. Now the next function is area of square within bracket, within parenthesis a. A is one parameter. Then it is returning a into a. Since this function is returning some value, it's having a return statement, so it has to be stored in a variable. Let's say I've taken a variable called area, and area is equal to area of square. Within that I have passed a value called 5. So this is how you can call the function. You have to provide an argument for the corresponding parameter, and the next thing is that you have to assign this function to a particular variable, because it is returning some value and the value returned has to be stored in some variable. So this is how you can call this function. Now just in the same way you can do the rest of the functions. Next function is def area of rectangle. It is taking two parameters and it is returning one value. So since it is returning some value, we can assign the function call to some variable. Let's say here I have taken a variable as area, and within the parenthesis we have to pass the corresponding values for the parameters. So that two parameters a and b, so I have passed two values for a and b, that is 9 and 3. You can pass any other value. Similarly, next one is perimeter circle, which is taking r as its parameter. So you can see def perimeter circle r, and it is returning 2 into 3.14 into r. So since there is a return statement in this function, so we have to assign the function to a variable. Here I've taken a variable called peri1 is equal to perimeter circle. Within that I have passed the value as 8. Then perimeter rectangle having two parameters L and B, and it's returning some value. So we can call it like this: peri2 is equal to perimeter rectangle. Within that we have taken two values 6 and 4. So next one is def quote, and can see there are some print statements within this function. So this function doesn't have any return value, so no need to assign it with some variable. You can just call it as it is, quote, with no argument within that. Like that only can call. Now poly is another function having is accepting three values x, y, and z, and it is returning one value. So since it is having return statement and it is returning some value, then the returned value has to be stored in some variables. So I have assigned it to a variable called p. P is equal to poly of 2 comma 3 comma 4. There are three values present. This function is accepting, so I have passed three values. The result will be stored in a variable p. So this is how these functions will be called. Now for function definitions in question number 2, write main program segment. So you can just write like this: function definition is given in the first column. There's the function definition part. After defining the function, you can just write the main program. It's like this. You have to call the function, then printing that value. Since this function is returning some value, so I have stored it in a variable called sum. And after that, just to print the value, I've just used a print statement and I've written print within that sum. So this much is enough for the main program. Now for the second function definition, you can see sum of 3 multiples 2. Here there is already print statements written in this function definition. So in the main program, you can just call the function as it is. No need to specify any print statement. The value will be given while calling the function and the output will be printed. The next function is def quote. There are some print statement messages within that quote function. So in the main program, you just have to call the function like this. Then next one is poly function having values x, comma y, comma z. So while calling the function, you can just assign it to a variable called p. After that, if you want to check the value of p, you can just write a print statement. Within that, you can pass p. So this can be the main part of the program. That's all. Now define a Python function called absolute that takes a parameter x and returns the absolute value of x. So we have defined a function called absolute with a parameter x, and it is returning absolute value of x by using the default function abs. There is a Python predefined function called abs which will return the absolute value of any number which is passed within its parentheses. So here I'm calling the function absolute. Within that I have passed the value as -6, and the value which will be returned by this function will be stored in a variable called y. Now it is printing the absolute value is y. You can see the output is like this: absolute value is +6 or 6. Now the same program can be done in another way. In a previous program, we have just used the ABS function, but here you can write, you can use the if statement, if else statement to carry out the task. So I have defined a function, let's say find underscore ABS, and within that one parameter is there x, and it will check if x is greater than or equal to 0, it will return x, or else it will return -6. That means if the number is negative, then it will be like minus of -6, that will become plus. So y is equal to find underscore abs. Within that we have passed a value as -3. So this is the line where the function is being called, and it is printing the value of y. So here we have passed the value as -3. So we are getting the output as absolute value is 3. Now write a program with a function chkodd that takes a positive integer as argument and reports if argument is even or odd. So you can see there is a function chkodd which is taking one argument n, and the condition is if n is divisible by 2, then it will print n is even, otherwise it will print n is odd. Now to check, the function will be called by passing a value x as its parameter. So x is a number which will be accepted by the user. So while executing this function, this program, it will ask the user to enter a number. So let's say the user has entered the number as 9. Then it has checked whether 9 is even or odd, and it is printing the corresponding output, that is 9 is odd. Now here is the solutions of Practical Book, chapters 3.1 and 3.2 we have discussed here. These are all the functions related questions. In the next video, I will discuss the questions of chapter 3.3 and 3.4, which are also related to functions only. Now stay tuned for more solutions and do subscribe, and you can check for solution other videos which are given in the description box. Thank you.